Hey everyone, welcome back to today's video. In this one we're talking about Myfitnesspal versus Fitbit's food tracker, okay? Which one is better? We're gonna find out in this video, okay? So stick around to the end to find out which one you should be using to help you lose weight. Before we do that, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, that way you won't miss out on any videos like this one. Thumbs up if you find it useful. If you've got any other questions by the end of the video, then just comment down below any questions about Fitbit or Myfitnesspal, and I'll try my best to answer them for you, okay? So let's get in with today's video. So guys, right, I'm gonna give you some pros and cons for both Myfitnesspal and the Fitbit food tracker app, and I'm going to start with the things that are similar with them, okay? So the things that work great for both of them, which are they're very simple to use, okay? If you've used one, you'll be quite happy using the other because they work fairly similarly. In terms of, they tell you how many calories you need to eat in a day. You search for the food you've eaten, you just put that in, it will come up and tell you how many calories are in that food and how many calories you've got left to eat throughout that particular day, okay? They do also both have a barcode scanner, so if you don't know what type of food it is, or you can't for some reason find the type of food you've eaten through the search, if it's got a barcode, what you've eaten, you can just scan that and it will pop straight up, okay? So in terms of usability, they're both very, very easy to use and they're both very similar. There's not really anything to choose between them. So moving on to some pros, mainly for Fitbit, okay, over Myfitnesspal. Why you want to use Fitbit instead is because it tracks your calories for that day as well as your food, yeah? So Fitbits themselves, obviously they track your heart rate, sleep, you can log your water, you can do all sorts with it. It'll also tell you how many calories you've burnt in a day, and it measures that depending on your heart rate and activity and exercise and all the rest of it, okay? Myfitnesspal, if I was to do half an hour of HIIT training, I could put that into Myfitnesspal and it would just come out with one blanket number. And I don't know if that's accurate. Me doing 30 minutes of HIIT is going to burn a different amount of calories to you guys doing 30 minutes of HIIT. Some people might burn more, some people might burn less. So you can never really gauge how many calories you've actually used. Whereas with the Fitbit, because it tracks you throughout the day, it'll tell you how many calories you've used so far in the day. So for example, it's the morning now, it says I've burnt 1,000 calories already. That's just through like basal metabolic rate basically. And it'll tell me that so far I need to eat about 1,000 calories because that's what my body has used so far, yeah? Whereas Myfitnesspal doesn't do that. Yeah, you just have to kind of guess roughly how many calories you burn. And in terms of the exercise, it's a lot more of a guessing game with Myfitnesspal than it is with Fitbit. So that is one massive pro. One big con, or two big cons I suppose, to Fitbit is one, you have to have a Fitbit for it to work. And that they're obviously not really expensive, it depends which one you get, but the base range is about 40 to 50 pounds and then it works their way up to like 200 pounds. So in terms of being able to get the app, it can be quite expensive. If you're doing it just for like the food tracker, you're obviously going to get your Fitbit as well, so you are going to get something out of it, but you can't just use the app on its own, you have to have a Fitbit with it. So that does rack up the cost, whereas Myfitnesspal obviously is free. Also, it doesn't come with a premium service, so you spend X amount of money on a Fitbit and then you go and you kind of get half of the resources that they have available because you have to pay an extra premium service, which I find a bit of a con really. If you're going to spend £200 on a Fitbit, then I'd like to think it gives me all the bells and whistles. So that is another kind of con to it. The biggest one I would say by far is when I've been using the Fitbit food tracker, I found it really hard to find some of the foods that I've eaten, okay? And it just doesn't seem to be there. I can scan a barcode and it still doesn't seem to be there. So those are probably the two big cons in terms of Fitbit. One, the price, and two, sometimes you can't find the foods. But the main big plus to take away from this about Fitbit is that it'll tell you exactly how many calories you actually need for that specific day. Now, moving on to Myfitnesspal, the big pro of MyFitnessPal is it has so many foods. Unlike Fitbit, there's never been a food that I have eaten which I cannot find in MyFitnessPal. Equally, it's got every different type of food. So it's got like every different type of bread, every different type of rice. And again, when I've scanned it with a barcode, it'll always come up. Okay, so in terms of accuracy for tracking your food, I said it's 10 times better than Fitbit for me personally. The big kind of con, which is like sort of the flip side of the Fitbit, is that it doesn't track your exercise very well. The main thing is that it's free, which is another big pro. Yeah, the fact it's free makes it super. You know, free to use, and it works for so many people that if you haven't already got the app, even if you're going to use both, like, just download it. It's free, it's great, it's super. Again, there is a premium service which you can pay for, but that's optional. It doesn't really take away from the fact that you couldn't lose weight with the basic version of it. You don't have to buy the premium to be able to lose weight with it. Okay, so that is a real big plus for it. So in conclusion, really, of which one you should use and which one you shouldn't, in my personal opinion, what you should do is, if you've got the money, go out there, you can buy the cheapest Fitbit if you want. At the end of the day, it's still going to do your calories. Even the most basic one does the calorie tracking for you. Use the calories that it says you've burnt throughout the day and put that into MyFitnessPal. All right. So rather than using each separately, use your Fitbit for information on your exercise and use MyFitnessPal in terms of information for your nutrition. Put them together, and then you should have no problem losing weight. Okay, because after that, it's all maths. You just need to have more calories going out than coming in. It's as simple as that. And that's it, guys. That's my review of both the Fitbit food tracker and MyFitnessPal. I hope you found it useful. If you did, like I say, hit that like button, and I'll see you on the next video.